Hey everyone, welcome back to the another part of this series. This is probably the third part of the series wherein we are going to talk about part 2, which is citizenship. And now, when we are talking about the citizenship and we are talking about the constitutional aspect of it, it is also important for us to understand the historical background of the how citizenship evolved as a concept. For us, it is also very important to understand a few things which are important, might not be directly in the constitution, but yeah, they have their relevance and their place for preparation. So we will just have an overview that what all sort of things are important for this particular topic, citizenship, and we will cover the bare act. Additionally, all those things which I believe is important from this topic, which might be there in Lakshmi Kant and some other act, we would cover that in another video. So that would be made. So let's one by one cover the important aspects of citizenship. So when we are talking about this particular theme, one thing which we have to keep in mind is what kind of citizenship do Indians have. So in India we have single citizenship. Now why we have single citizenship is again due to the question here is why we have a single citizenship when India is a federal nation. Again, to we know that we have the union prevalence. Again, the kind of federalism that we have is Kasi federalism. So citizenship is also a testament to that basically point that India is a Kasi federal nation, and because of that we only have single citizenship, unlike that in USA, wherein a citizen has two citizenships, like they are the citizen of the whole uh, USA, and the 50 the states which are part, they are required to hold other citizenship uh, with regard to the states, which is not the case in India. We are Indians, and we do not address ourselves as the citizen of UP or citizen of say some other state like Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, or any other state. So that is the difference when we are talking about the first aspect. When we are talking about the other aspects that which is in Lakshmi Kant, in the introductory part of the Lakshmi Kant, which I believe would be covered later, but is important to be discussed here, is from examination perspective, what all fundamental rights are there, which is you know explicitly for the citizens of India. Now, since fundamental right is something which we are going to discuss in the upcoming video, probably the next video would be about fundamental rights. So when we would be talking about fundamental right, we would cover the other aspects of it in the other video. So this would be taken care of in the next video. Again, one very small pointer here which I believe is important to know, just as a matter of fact, is that is it important for the president to be a citizen of India, or is there any other way through which any other person can be a citizen, be a president as well in India? So while understanding this, we must understand and look up into the case of USA. So what happened in USA is that it is mandatory for a president to be a citizen. Then only they can, if say I'm not the citizen of USA and I'm standing in the elections of presidential elections, I would not be eligible for the same because I'm not the citizen of the same. So that is when it comes to USA. But in India, what is the case is that either you can be a citizen, or citizen by birth, or yeah, citizen by birth. Either you can be a citizen by birth, or what happens here in our countries, if you are a naturalized citizen or you obtain citizenship through naturalization, then also you are eligible for the presidential elections. Now, what is this particular terminology would be discussed when I would be talking about the further detailings of Citizenship Amendment Act 1955, and hopefully that video would be coming in the next part of the series. So we would cover the ways through which a non-citizen acquires citizenship. So it is one part of the same. So this is about, the small detailings which are there in Lakshmikant which might be missed. So which also I found relevant to know just for the sake of knowing. It's important to know. So without any further ado, let's go with the Bear Act. And here are some addition which I did from Indian Express ka article, which talks about the, background setting, what was actually going on in the, constitutional debates or constitutional assembly, what all were the things which they were thinking while drafting the constitution, is something which I found relevant to just even, ponder upon. So this is what I, from where I took a few, lines of the same thing necessary to understand. So we will look after it if I found it, relevant, or we have that much time. But yeah, for now, let's discuss the Bear Act first, and we will discuss this later on. So what does the Article 5 talks about? So Article 5 basically talks about citizenship at the commencement of the constitution. At the commencement of this constitution, every person who has his domicile in the territory of India, um, तो सिंपली यहाँ पे ये बोला है कि सिटीजनशिप, और एक और चीज़ यहाँ पे जो ध्यान में रखनी कि सिटीजनशिप का जो नो इन्फोर्समेंट या इट started its enforcement right from the day when constitution was adopted. So it was adopted here like in 26 on 26 November 1949, not on the Republic Day. So कुछ aspects constitution के बहुत पहले से ही, यानी कि 26 नवंबर से ही enforcement में थे, like the citizenship, and a few were brought under enforcement when the whole constitution and everything, the republic thing happened. So वो भी एक चीज़ है जो यहाँ पे ध्यान रखने की, citizenship एक part है जो कि पहले से ही enforcement में था. So at the commencement of this constitution, every person, कोई भी ऐसा इंसान जिसका डोमिसाइल इन द टेरिटरी ऑफ इंडिया, इंडिया के किसी भी टेरिटरी में उसका डोमिसाइल है, एंड अगर वो बॉर्न हुआ है इंडियन टेरिटरी में, और उसके either of whose parents was born in the territory, it does not say both. So there are few terminologies और छोटी छोटी चीज़ों का ध्यान रखना है. So the first thing is that it is और कि आपका डोमिसाइल इंडियन टेरिटरी में है, प्लस या तो आप इंडियन टेरिटरी में बॉर्न हुए हो, या तो आपके कोई भी पेरेंट्स में से कोई भी एक पेरेंट, आइदर ऑफ योर पेरेंट इंडियन टेरिटरी में बॉर्न हुए हैं, एंड लास्ट वन इज और who has been ordinary resident in the territory of India for not less than 5 years immediately preceding such commencement shall be a citizen of India. तो इसमें लास्ट वाले में बोला कि अगर आप ऑर्डिनरली रिसाइड कर रहे हैं इंडियन टेरिटरी में, जब से कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन कमेंस हुआ उसके 5 साल पहले से अगर आप इंडियन टेरिटरी में रिसाइड कर रहे हैं, तो भी यू वुड बी कंसिडर्ड as the citizenship of the nation. So that is what it is talking about. Article 5. Article 6 is very interesting. Rights of citizenship of certain persons who have migrated to India from Pakistan. So now यहाँ पे उन लोगों की बात की जा रही है जो यहाँ पाकिस्तान से इंडिया में माइग्रेट करके आए, और इसके ऊपर कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली में बहुत ज़्यादा डिबेट भी हुआ था. व्हाट इज़ द क्राइटेरिया टू ट्रस्ट द पीपल हु हैव माइग्रेटेड, और like those allegations were made here, which I have added in the section to read upon and to just think about those things as well. But yeah, this is what it is talking about. Article 6 कि जो लोग पाकिस्तान से इंडिया में माइग्रेट किए हैं उनके राइट्स के बारे में बताया गया है. सो नॉट विथस्टैंडिंग एनीथिंग इन आर्टिकल 5, अ पर्सन, कोई भी ऐसा इंसान जो माइग्रेट हुआ है इंडियन टेरिटरी में फ्रॉम द टेरिटरी नाउ इंक्लूडेड इन पाकिस्तान, जो अभी मतलब इन नॉर्मल सेंस इट इज टॉकिंग अबाउट दिस डायग्राम ओनली, तो शैल बी डीम्ड टू बी अ सिटीजन ऑफ इंडिया. कौन कौन से बेसिस है जिसके बेसिस से पाकिस्तान से कोई माइग्रेटेड इंसान Indian citizen कहलाएगा. So let's look forward with the conditions. So there are two conditions with sub classifications. So uh, if he or either of his parent, uh, I object. I have some objections with regard to this particular terminology. He, because yeah, I mean it could have been more inclusive of other gender as well, but nevertheless, ignoring that fact because it was drafted in 1949 and somewhere around that. Moving forward, he or either of his parent or any of his grandparents were born in India. And again, yeah, one more thing which I remember is this was rectified through some amendment that it was made clear that all the genders are referred from he after after this there was some clarifications later on in 1970s or 80s that सारी ही genders को he से ही हम लोग constitution में refer किया है. So that is what I remember. So for clarification, he or either of his parents or any of his grandparents was born in India, defined in the Government of India Act 1935. तो अगर कोई इंसान या उसके पेरेंट्स या फिर ग्रैंड पेरेंट इंडिया में बॉर्न हुए हैं एज डिफाइंड इन द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया एक्ट 1935, तो या फिर in case where such person has so migrated before 19th of July 1948, अगर 19 जुलाई से पहले आप माइग्रेट किए हैं, has been ordinarily resident of the territory of India since the date of his migration. इन सिंपल टर्म्स 19 जुलाई 1948 के पहले अगर आप माइग्रेट किए हैं और उस टाइम पे आप ऑर्डिनरीली रेसिडेंट थे इंडियन टेरिटरी में, तो आप इंडिया के सिटीजनशिप डीम टू बी अ सिटीजन ऑफ इंडिया कहलाएंगे. एंड द लास्ट पार्ट हियर इज इन द केस वेयर सच पर्सन हैज माइग्रेटेड ऑन और आफ्टर द 19th, तो यहाँ पे ये था कि 19th के पहले दिस इज लेट्स मेक द टाइमलाइन. तो 19 के पहले नाउ वी आर डिस्कसिंग अबाउट 19 जुलाई 1948 के बाद अगर आप माइग्रेट किए हैं तो क्या होगा. तो 19 जुलाई 1948 के बाद अगर आप माइग्रेट किए हैं, सो इन दैट केस he has been registered as a citizen of India by an officer appointed in that behalf by the government of Dominion of India on an application made by him. Simply अगर गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया को आपने एप्लीकेशन दिया, आप रजिस्ट्रेशन करवा रहे हैं अपना, एंड इफ दैट इज अप्रूव्ड, सो ऑन दैट बेसिस यू वुड बी कंसिडर्ड टू बी अ सिटीजन ऑफ इंडिया. और इसके ऊपर भी कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली की डिबेट्स में बहुत सारे डिबेट्स हुए थे दैट हाउ प्रायोरिटी वाज गिवन टू हिंदू एंड सिख्स ओनली एंड Muslims were not given that much consideration during the approval and so and so. So it was secularism on the face of it, but beneath it there were some other things which were also going on. So that is about this article. Also, we will summarize everything because abhi it might seem a little heavier because of a lot of dates and clauses and sub-clauses. But yeah, we would summarize everything later on. Provided that no person shall be so registered unless he has been resident in the territory of India for at least 6 months immediately preceding the date of his application. तो application के date, application का date जब आपने एप्लीकेशन डाला उसके 6 महीने पहले से आप ऑर्डिनरली रिसाइड कर रहे होने चाहिए इंडिया में. दैट इज व्हाट इट इज टॉकिंग अबाउट. नाउ इट इज टॉकिंग अबाउट those migrants, those persons who just migrated, just like पाकिस्तान से कुछ लोग इंडिया में आ रहे हैं, वैसे इंडिया से भी कुछ लोग पाकिस्तान में जा रहे हैं. सो राइट ऑफ सिटीजनशिप ऑफ सर्टेन माइग्रेंट्स टू पाकिस्तान, notwithstanding anything in Article 5 and 6, a person who has after the first day of March 1947 So here the timeline is 1st March 1947. First day of March 1947, migrated from the territory of India to the territory of Pakistan shall not be deemed to be a citizen of India. तो अगर कोई भी पर्सन इंडियन टेरिटरी से पाकिस्तान की टेरिटरी में माइग्रेट किया है एंड what is the date which we have to consider, 1 मार्च 1947 के बाद अगर आप माइग्रेट किए हैं तो आप सिटीजन नहीं कहलाएंगे इंडियन सिटीजन. यू वुड नॉट बी अ पार्ट ऑफ इंडियन सिटीजन ऑन द बेसिस दैट nothing in this article shall apply to a person who who after having so migrated to the territory now included in Pakistan has returned to the territory of India under a permit for resettlement or permanent return issued by or under the authority of law, and every such person shall, for the purpose of clause B of Article 6, shall be deemed to have uh, migrated to the territory of India after 19th July 1948. तो बहुत सिंपली एक एक करके we will understand what it is talking about. Very simply it is talking about कि अगर आपने 1 मार्च 1947 के बाद इंडिया को छोड़ा, आप पाकिस्तान में गए, आप वेरी सिंपली यू आर नॉट इंडियन सिटीजन, बट देयर इज एन एक्सेप्शन टू इट. द एक्सेप्शन इज ये जो भी आर्टिकल 7 है वो अप्लाई नहीं होगा किन लोगों पे, आफ्टर हैविंग सो माइग्रेटेड टू द टेरिटरी, आप पाकिस्तान में चले गए, पाकिस्तान से देन आफ्टर यू आर कमिंग बैक टू इंडिया, हैज रिटर्न टू द टेरिटरी ऑफ इंडिया अंडर व्हाट परमिट सिस्टम के अंदर आप वापस आ रहे हैं रीसेटल करने के लिए, आप परमानेंट रिटर्न ले रहे हैं आप, और ये अथॉरिटी से इशू करवा रहे हैं आप कि आपका रिटर्न परमानेंट रिटर्न है. सो ऑन दैट ग्राउंड्स यू वुड बी डीम्ड सिटीजनशिप अंडर clause 6B of the constitution. So this is what it is talking about when it comes to article 7. Revisit the video, rewatch article 6, rewatch article 7, re-listen everything, read line by line, it will make sense to you. Article 8, rights of citizenship of certain persons of Indian origin residing outside India. तो उन लोगों की बात की जा रही है जो इंडियन ओरिजिन के हैं लेकिन they are not living in India, they are residing outside India. So notwithstanding anything in Article 5, any person who or either of whose parent or any of whose grandparents was born in India as defined in the Government of India Act 1935 and who is ordinarily residing in any country outside India as so defined shall be deemed to be a citizen of India if he has registered as a citizen of India by the diplomatic consulate and representative of India in the country where, but simply it is saying that if you were born in Indian territory, or your parents were born in Indian territory, or your grandparents were born in Indian territory, which has been defined in Government of India Act 1935, जिसकी हमें discussion ज़्यादा करनी नहीं है because it's a colonial rule, colonial law. So अगर ऐसा कोई भी केस है, so अभी करंट में आप इंडियन टेरिटरी के बाहर हैं, so you can acquire the citizenship, you can be deemed to be a citizen of India. अगर आप किसी भी डिप्लोमेटिक रिप्रेजेंटेटिव ऑफ इंडिया या फिर जो कॉन्सुलेट्स होते हैं वहाँ पे जाके यू रजिस्टर योरसेल्फ एज एन इंडियन सिटीजन. So that is the procedural thing where he is time being an application made by thereof to such diplomatic or consular representative whether before or after the commencement of the constitution in the manner. So this is what it is saying and वही बात यहाँ पे बोली गई है. So yeah, 3 more articles related to citizenship which are probably very small and we would be finished with the Bare Act based on citizenship. जब हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं आर्टिकल 9 की, so persons voluntarily acquiring citizenship of a foreign state not to be citizens. अब इंडियन citizen हैं, but now you are voluntarily choosing to be a citizen of some other country, say United Nations or say France or Italy or say some other European nation. So on that ground, your citizenship would be denied. You would no longer an Indian citizen. That is what it is stating, that no person shall be a citizen of India by virtue of Article 5 or deemed to be a citizen of India by virtue of Article 6 or 8 if he has voluntarily acquired citizenship of any other foreign state. Now, Article 10 talks about continuance of rights of citizenship. Every person who is or is deemed to be a citizen of India under any foregoing provisions of this part, subject to the provisions of any law that may be made by parliament, continue to be such citizen. तो कोई भी person who is or deemed to be जो citizen है या फिर deemed to be a citizen है किसी भी ऊपर वाले parts के basis पे subject to the provisions of any law, it simply means you will continue to be a citizen of India until and unless there is any law which has been made in the parliament. So it's subjective to the law which is, which the parliament is bringing, but until or otherwise you continue to be a citizen and your rights as a citizen would be, enforceable. So that is what it is talking about in Article 10. Article 11 is talking about Parliament to regulate the right of citizenship by law. This is directly related to CAA 1955, 2020 वाला जो भी था amendment, which witnessed a huge protest as well. So आर्टिकल 11 सिंपली ये बोल रहा है कि पार्लियामेंट रेगुलेट करेगा सिटीजनशिप लॉ को. सो उसी को इन्होंने बहुत अलग लैंग्वेज में लिखा है. नथिंग इन द फोरगोइंग प्रोविजंस ऑफ दिस पार्ट शैल डेरोगेट फ्रॉम द पावर. दैट ऊपर के लिखे कोई भी आर्टिकल पार्ट ये नहीं कह रहा कि पार्लियामेंट कुछ नहीं कर सकता या पार्लियामेंट प्रोविजंस नहीं बना सकता. सो इट बेसिकली गिव्स द पावर टू द पार्लियामेंट. सो shall derogate from the power of the parliament to make any provision with respect to the acquisition and termination of citizenship and all other matters relating to citizenship. This is what it is talking about, Article 11. So अगर हमें जल्दी एक बार रिवाइज करना है, so we will very quickly revise what Article 5 said. Article 5 ने यही डिसाइड किया, दो क्राइटेरियाज डिसाइड की कि आप सिटीजन कैसे बन सकते हैं जब कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन कमेंस हुआ. सिटीजनशिप के केस में व्हाट इज द डेट, 26 नवंबर. दो क्राइटेरियाज ये हैं कि पहला तो एवरी पर्सन हु हैज हिज डोमिसाइल, आपका डोमिसाइल इंडियन टेरिटरी पे है, और इन तीन कैटेगरीज A, B, C में से कोई भी एक चीज फुलफिल हो रही है कि आप बॉर्न हुए हैं या फिर आपका कोई भी पेरेंट बॉर्न हुआ है या फिर आप 5 साल से रिसाइड कर रहे हैं इंडियन टेरिटरी पे. So that is what Article 5 was talking. Article 6 talked about persons who migrated from Pakistan to India. डेटलाइन यहाँ पे जो ध्यान में रखनी है कि 19 जुलाई के पहले जो माइग्रेट हुए 1948 और 19 जुलाई 1948 के बाद जो लोग माइग्रेट हुए हैं उनके केस में क्या क्या चीज़ें हैं. एक बार फिर से अगर हम देखें तो इन केस वेयर सच पर्सन बिफोर 19 जुलाई he has been ordinarily resident in the territory of India, तो वो deemed to be citizen हो जाएगा. But if you are migrating after 19 जुलाई तो आपको application देना पड़ेगा and diplomatic चीज़ें करनी पड़ेंगी. Lastly, Article 7 was talking about rights of citizen. जो लोग पाकिस्तान इंडिया से पाकिस्तान गए हैं तो वो लोग उनके लिए डेट लाइन थी कि अगर आप 1 मार्च 1947 के बाद इंडिया से पाकिस्तान पे जा रहे हैं तो आप इंडियन सिटीजन नहीं कहलाएंगे until and unless you are returning for resettlement or permanently returning to India and that has been issued under any authority by law. So you would be deemed to be a citizen under Article 6 Clause B. And that is what it is talking about. Article 7. Article 8 हमने देख लिया कि कोई भी इंसान राइट्स ऑफ सिटीजनशिप ऑफ सर्टेन पर्सन्स ऑफ इंडियन ओरिजिन रिसाइडिंग आउटसाइड इंडिया. यहाँ पे इंपॉर्टेंट क्या था कि आप रजिस्टर कर रहे हैं डिप्लोमेटिक या काउंसलर में रिप्रेजेंटेटिव ऑफ इंडिया में तो यू वुड बी डीम्ड टू बी अ सिटीजन. 9 में बोला कि आप अगर किसी फॉरेन स्टेट की सिटीजनशिप को वॉलंटरली एक्वायर करें सो यू आर you are actually leading to the termination of your Indian citizenship. 10 में बात किया गया कि आपकी राइट्स कंटिन्यू होंगे until and unless parliament make any other law which can change things related to citizenship. 11 में बात किया गया parliament to regulate the right of citizenship by law. So this is in detail the Bare Act about the citizenship, and I would suggest to read you all this particular thing, Citizenship Amendment Act, and the ways of acquiring and terminating of citizenship. I will also try to make another video so that things are in continuation. Additionally, this is the constitutional background which I am going to give a very brief. So जब constitution बन रहा था तो बहुत ज़्यादा ही डिस्कशन होने लगा कि कौन से बेसिस पे हम लोगों को सिटीजनशिप दें, जो लोग बॉर्न हुए हैं उस बेसिस पे दें, या वी शुड गिव सिटीजनशिप ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ देयर डिसेंट, या फिर आपके पेरेंट्स की नेशनैलिटी के बेसिस पे हम आपको सिटीजनशिप दे दें. सो व्हाट डिड पीपल सेड that a few prominent leaders actually said that just solely, which is on the basis of birth, if you're born in Indian soil, you would be deemed to be an Indian citizen. So that is what has been adopted in Indian citizenship, for Indian citizenship. Now just sanguinis was वही जो हमने बात किया कि on the basis of descent या फिर आपकी lineage के basis पे. तो सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल का जो भी कमेंट आया था जस्ट सॉली को लेके और जस्ट सैंग्विनिस को बहुत ज़्यादा क्रिटिसाइज किया गया. हाउएवर बहुत सारे लोगों ने जस्ट सॉली को भी क्रिटिसाइज किया. पीएस देशमुख फ्रॉम महाराष्ट्र, वो एक बहुत प्रोमिनेंट लीडर जिन्होंने जस्ट सॉली को क्रिटिसाइज किया ऑन द बेसिस दैट एनी वन बॉर्न ऑन इंडियन सिटीजनशिप कैन एक्वायर इंडियन सिटीजनशिप. सो इंडियन सिटीजनशिप काइंड ऑफ बहुत ज़्यादा चीप हो रही है. इन्होंने यही लिखा था इंडियन सिटीजनशिप द चीपेस्ट ऑन अर्थ. जस्ट फॉर एग्जांपल अगर कोई एयरपोर्ट एरोप्लेन इंडिया से जा रहा है या कोई सी there is any someone is traveling and they just crossed India and the child is born, so the child is deemed to be an Indian citizen. So on that logical grounding उन्होंने बोला कि just solely is not the probable grounding for providing citizenship, but उसकी वजह से ही हमने बहुत सारे further changes witness किए जो कि CAA 2003 में enact किए गए, which we will discuss again to continue the same. So this was the thing, and I would suggest people reading this article, which I will attach the link of by Indian article, to have a more comprehensive understanding of things which we are talking about in general, and the background is very important, and to gain something new, learn something new, and to just not restrict things to the way it has been asked or to exam orientation itself. So I hope to see you all very soon in the next video. Hoping to make another video on the continuation of the same topic, CAA 1955 and CAA 2003 from Lakshmikant, and then we will move forward with fundamental rights. I will again check if I can make the video on Lakshmikant, because Lakshmikant in itself is another world. So I will have to think about it. But yeah, so far so long, enjoy learning and stay hydrated.